cool as long as I don't mute this, shake this too much. I'm not on mute. I can't be still at the numbers. Hi. You said you can't see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Just gonna give a couple more minutes to see if other people decide to join us this morning. I guess they changed their mind. All right, I see. Let me turn my music down. I see we have some of our friends here that are trickling in, and we are just going to go ahead and get started because it's 9:33 and we want to make sure we have time to get to our lesson for today. So right now I'm just going to stop my screen share because I want to make sure that I want to see who's on the line with me today, and it's easier for me to see when I remove my screen. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, friends. Can everybody hear me and everybody see me? Okay. All right. So, welcome to Children's Church. It is the first Sunday of February, and I'm just so excited to be here with all of my friends today. So, I'm gonna have just give you a moment to take yourself off mute and just quickly say hello to everybody and say your name. I think most of us might know each other, but just in case, we just want to make sure we get to know each other's names. So, I'm Miss Carly. I'm your teacher for today. So just unmute and go next if you just want to say hi.
My name is Ryan Reynolds.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
There you go. Say your name, De'Ara.
Hi, Ryan.
Say hi, my name is De'Ara.
I'm De'Ara.
Hi, De'Ara. Good morning.
Say good morning.
I see. We have one more friend that has joined us. Did you say good morning? Hi, good morning. So welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And then I see our friend Jonathan in the corner. Hi, Jonathan. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. So I'm just going to reshare my screen again so we can get started with our lesson for today. And as always, we like to get started with a little movement. So we call it Praise in Motion. If you haven't joined in this before, it's the same video from last week, so you'll be familiar with the song. So again, you don't have to follow the dance moves, but just jump around and have some fun and get your blood flowing. Stand up and stretch out and just move how you feel to the music. Stand up and stretch out and just move how you feel to the music. Stand up and stretch out and does that sound better? It's so much fun when we get to dance and worship the Lord. Let our voices awake the dawn. I know you'll lead me where I belong, in waters red. Okay, I like those moves. We'll carry on. We'll carry on. So I think everybody probably has enough of their juices flowing from our little dance session. Hold on for a second. I'm going to put my space back together. I'm feeling good. Movement feels so good when we get to jump around and have some fun. So we're going to continue our series this morning on emotions, but I don't want to gloss over the fact that February is also a celebration of Black History Month. So some of you may have been talking about Black History Month in school. So I just wanted to say happy Black History Month. I do have just one short fact that I want to share with you before we get into our lesson. All right, so this is important because these facts let us know that it's not just adults that make history, but kids make history too. And the Black history fact that I want to highlight today is one young leader. Her name is Maasai Martin. I forgot to add her name, I see. But when she was 14 years old, she became the youngest Black executive producer ever. She starred and produced in her own movie called Little. So if Maasai can make history, so can you. So just think about all the dreams that you have and all the goals you want to accomplish. And one day people will be talking about the history that you make too. So moving right along as we jump into our lesson, we're going to continue our discussion on emotions, as I mentioned. So we've been talking for the past 3 weeks about learning how to deal with how we feel and how we can feel different things at different times, depending on what's going on. So I just want to ask if anyone wants to share how they're feeling today. You can use the emotions on the chart, or if you feel a different way, you can tell me a different way that you're feeling today. And it's okay if you don't want to volunteer.
Ms. Carly, I missed the question. Can you please repeat the question?
Sure, I just wanted to know if anyone wanted to share how they're feeling today.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You're muted. Sorry.
Today I'm feeling happy.
Oh. Well, I'm so glad that you're feeling happy today, Ryan. And that's just one example of one of the ways that we can feel. And just like last week, we kind of deep dive more specifically into one emotion. And we talked about maybe the pressure of feeling that you have to do something perfect. Today, we're going to talk about what it means when we feel worried. So worry might not necessarily mean that you're happy or unhappy, but it might mean that you have a concern about something, or that it's something that you're thinking about that is making you feel all different inside. So we're going to watch a video that kind of discusses the emotion of worry, and then we're going to do a quick debrief about what we learned from that video. So I'm not going to play the whole thing, so I'm just going to skip right to the portion that I want you to see. Nope. Sorry.
Hey everyone, my name is Susanna, but you can call me Suze. God gave us the Bible as the blueprint for us to deal with how we feel. Here, check this out.
Hey everybody, listen up. Here's what God has to say.
Has to say about what?
Well, I was just about to tell you.
Wait,
that
is it good news or bad news? Like, good news as when we're having pancakes for dinner?
pancakes? What are you even talking about?
Oh no! Is it bad news? As in velociraptors are prowling around downtown with laser beams coming from their eyes and they're stealing everyone's pants? So many pants! It's got me so worried.
Let me stop you right there. That's what our story is about.
About pants?
Ha ha, not pants. Worrying. There are so many things we can worry about, and God has something to say about it. So let's jump into our story about Gideon.
Gideon! My main man! But wait, what did he have to worry about?
Great question, and great place to start. So, Gideon was an Israelite. The Israelites were God's chosen people, but they started to do some really bad things that upset him.
Oh, like cheating on tests and staying up past their bedtimes? That's like bad.
Oh, even really badder than that. They started to disobey God, so he let a mean group of people, the Midianites, rule over them. For years, they would attack the Israelites and destroy their crops.
Oh man, bullies who take your lunch money? Definitely lots to worry about.
Oh yeah, and this went on forever. Finally, the Israelites shouted out to God, asking for his help.
Time to throw up the bat signal.
Even though the Israelites had started worshiping false gods, the one true God heard their cries. He had an idea and was about to come through for them big time.
He was going to give them a shrink ray gun so they could turn the Midianites into little baby ants. Now that's an idea.
Oh, it's an idea, all right. And that's where Gideon comes back into the picture. Gideon, who was hiding while separating the wheat they used for bread, was worried that if the Midianites knew he had food, they would take it. That's when God sent an angel who said to Gideon,
"Mighty warrior, God is with you."
Gideon did not feel like God was with them and asked the angel about all the bad things that were happening. That's when God himself spoke to Gideon. He said, "You are strong. Go and save Israel from the power of Midian. I am sending you."
Well, I guess it doesn't get much more clear than that, right?
Well, you'd think so, but Gideon was still worried. He wondered why on earth God would choose him to go save everyone. It's not like he came from a strong family. Gideon didn't feel important at all. God reassured Gideon that he would be with him, but Gideon needed a sign. So he asked God to stick around for a minute while he prepared an offering.
I'm sure God didn't mind waiting since he's got all the time in the world.
Gideon whipped up some bread and goat stew, brought it back, and placed it on a rock. That's when the angel touched it with a stick, and the whole thing went up in flames.
Flaming bread, and flaming stew, and flaming rocks.
There weren't any flaming rocks, but Gideon did make an altar there for God. And speaking of altars, that same night, Gideon snuck around.
Like a ninja dressed in all black, throwing ninja stars at the other altars, and slicing a pole in half using a samurai sword.
Gideon didn't have ninja stars or a samurai sword, But he did destroy the altar and pole his family had used for worshiping false gods.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Gideon did all this at night because he was afraid and worried that his family would be very angry with him. When the townspeople saw what Gideon had done, they wanted him to pay for it. But nothing bad happened to Gideon.
Sounds like that was a close call.
It sure was. A little while later, the Midianites started moving in for another attack, and it didn't take long for Gideon to start worrying again. He knew God had promised to use him to save Israel and all, but he needed another reminder.
What did Gideon have in mind? It's not like God could just shoot him a text.
Yeah, no cell phones, but Gideon did have an idea. You see, dew would form overnight and make the ground, as well as everything else around it, wet. So Gideon left a piece of wool on the ground overnight and asked God to make the wool wet from the dew, but leave the ground dry.
Wet wool, dry ground, check.
Sure enough, God did just that. But Gideon still wasn't sure and asked God if he'd do just the opposite the next night.
Okay, so dry wool and wet ground. Got it.
When Gideon woke up the next morning, that's exactly what he found. The wool was dry, but the ground around it was covered in dew.
Please tell me Gideon trusted God this time.
Gideon was now confident that God wanted him to fight the Midianites. He knew that the Lord thought he was good enough to do the job. So Gideon decided to stop worrying, trust God, and do exactly what God wanted him to do.
So the next time we find ourselves worrying about anything,
we can trust God.
Gideon was so worried about how it would all turn out that he forgot God was with him and had a good plan all along. God was patient with Gideon and kept...
Okay, we're going to stop our video there and move forward with our lesson. So I want to ask you, based off of what you just saw, does anybody have an example of a time that they may have felt worried? So remember, worry is to feel concerned or maybe stressed a little bit about something, or maybe you just don't feel very confident about something you've done or something you might want to experience. So does anybody have an example they want to share with the group?